Hi guys, Abe here. Just want to welcome you to the Beginner's Introduction to Forex Trading course. Now, this course is basically just going to be a very fundamental and basic introduction into a lot of the concepts that we are going to be going deeper into in further courses down the line. So if you're a beginner, this is a great chance for you to familiarize yourself with a lot of the language used and ideas around Forex trading and the markets. And if you're already an advanced trader or someone with more experience, this could be a great chance for you to revise a lot of these concepts. So I definitely recommend just kicking back, get your notepad out, rewatch things a couple times if you have to, but sit back, enjoy, and let's get into it. Hey guys, so to kick off module 1, we're just going to do a very brief introduction into what exactly is Forex. Let's just get a little understanding here of just exactly what it is that we're dealing with before we start diving into some deeper topics. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on and do that. Now, Forex, or FX, is short for foreign exchange, is the global marketplace for exchanging national currencies. Now, the Forex market is by far the largest market in the world. Now, to give you some perspective on this, the stock market trades roughly $200 billion worth of transactions per day, whilst the Forex market trades upwards of $5 trillion per day. So as you can see, that is quite a large difference. Now, most of the volume in the Forex market comes from the banks and something called the interbank market. Now, the interbank market is where banks trade currency between each other for both commercial and speculative reasons. Commercial meaning things such as international trade transactions for their customers, and speculative meaning that they're also trading Forex similarly to how we do, which is to profit on the fluctuating exchange rates. Now, about 90% of all Forex trading happens in the commercial side of the market. Now, that combined with it being the largest market in the world makes it extremely liquid. Now, we'll get into what liquid means later on, but this is very attractive for all kinds of traders, since high liquidity makes it quick and easy for traders to get in and out of trades with instant execution times and very low fees. Now, how does Forex work and how can we profit, you might be asking? Well, let's find out in the next step. So let's go into a little bit more detail on what exactly we are trading when we buy and sell in the Forex market. So when we participate in the speculative Forex market, we are trading something called a currency pair. Now, a pair consists of the base currency and the quote currency. The base currency is always shown first in the name, and the quote currency is always shown second. So in the example that I've shown you here, for Euro USD, we know that Euro comes first, USD is second in the name, so Euro is the base currency and USD is the quote currency. Now, since we trade Forex in pairs, we're basically speculating that one of those currencies will go up in value against the other. Now, if I was to buy Euro USD, I would be buying the euro while simultaneously selling the dollar. I'm basically betting that the euro will go up in value against the dollar. Now, the number value of a pair is a representation of the exchange rate between the countries and their currencies. Now, this is expressed as a ratio and a measurement called pips. Now, we'll go into pips in a bit more detail later on, but just to show you another example, if the current value of Euro USD is showing as 1.09445, it means that 1 euro, because it's the base currency, there's one of them, currently trades for 1.09445 USD. We are being quoted, because USD again is the quote currency, we are being quoted 1.09445 USD to buy a single euro. Now, there are three main categories of pairs. We have the major pairs, the minor pairs, and the exotic pairs. So let's just move on quickly and we'll talk about those a little bit. So let's just try and get a brief and fundamental understanding of what exactly these three categories are when we're talking about currency pairs, and just dive into some of the details of what it actually means and how these categories differ. So again, we have three categories. We've got the major pairs, the minor pairs, and exotic pairs. Now, for major pairs, it is a set of 7 pairs that all contain USD on one side. These are the most traded and liquid pairs in the market. Now, let's go over the list very briefly. The pairs are Euro USD, which is the euro against the United States dollar, USD JPY, which is United States dollar against the Japanese yen, GBP USD, which is the Great British Pound against the United States dollar, USD CHF, which is the United States dollar against the Swiss franc, USD CAD, which is the United States dollar against the Canadian dollar, AUD USD, which is the Australian dollar against the United States dollar, and NZD USD, which is the New Zealand dollar against the United States dollar. Now, the major pairs are often the primary choice for many traders since they are highly liquid. Now, again, high liquidity means that there's often high volume in the market, and this usually means that there's nice moves and nice price action for people to trade from, but also these pairs tend to have very low spread, which we will talk about later. So let's move on to the next section, which is minor pairs. So as we start to get into these other categories of currency pairs, the list tends to get more and more exhaustive. So we won't read off every single currency in these next categories, but I've put them on the screen for you in this case. So if you want to take notes, go ahead. Now, the minor pairs, or crosses, which is another nickname that they have, these are the pairs that include other major currencies except the USD. Now, these pairs are also very liquid and highly traded, but nowhere near as much as the major pairs, since the USD accounts for most of the money in the market by quite a long shot. Now, this category has kind of its own subcategories, as you can see on screen. We've got the Euro crosses, the Pound crosses, the Yen crosses, and we've got some other crosses there as well. These are our minor pairs. Now, next, again, is another quite exhaustive list. We have the exotic pairs, but let's dig into those next. So finally, we have the exotic pairs. Now, these are pairs that involve currencies from countries that are considered developing or emerging markets. Now, these pairs tend to include one major currency and then the exotic currency. Now, it's important to note that these pairs are usually very low volume and therefore can be very volatile. Most traders generally choose to stay away from exotic pairs for these reasons, just because a lot of the price movements can be quite irregular, erratic, and quite unpredictable, but they are there if you want to trade them on certain brokers. So the list of exotics is again quite lengthy, so we won't go completely into it, but some examples are pairs including currencies from emerging economies in countries such as Mexico, Brazil, and Africa, as I'm showing you down below. So we have USD MXN, which is the United States dollar against the Mexican peso, USD BRL, which is the United States dollar against the Brazilian real, USD ZAR, which is the United States dollar against the South African rand. So yeah, the list for this really goes on and on. There's many countries in the world and there's many other currencies. So if you're curious about them, feel free to jump down the Google rabbit hole and enjoy. It's quite a big one. So how does Forex work exactly and how can we profit from it? How does Forex trading work specifically? Well, we're going to use what I think is the most famous and easy to understand example. I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably come across this example before, but it's my favorite and I think it paints the clearest picture. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's say that you live in Europe and you decide to go on holiday to the USA. You'll have to exchange some of your euros into United States dollars. So you arrive at the airport in the USA and you make your way to one of the currency exchange kiosks. There you see that the exchange rate for 1 euro is 1.8 USD. So for every euro you give to the exchange, you're going to get 1.8 USD back. Now, let's say that you want to exchange 100 euros. So you give 100 euros to the exchange and they give you 180 US dollars back. Now you've already participated in the Forex market, but how do we profit from this? So let's say that you finish your trip and you didn't spend any of this money that you exchanged at the airport. You fly back to Europe and you still have 180 US dollars in your pocket. So when you get to the airport back home, once again, you make your way to the currency exchange kiosk, and in that time that you were away, the exchange rate for the euro against the dollar has changed. The USD has grown in strength, and the exchange rate for 1 euro is now 1.7 US dollars. This means that in order for you to buy 1 euro back, the cost is now lower than it was before, and it's only costing you 1.7 instead of 1.8 USD to get you a euro back. So you give $180 to the exchange and you get 105.88 euros back. You've just profited 5.88 euros. And this is exactly how Forex trading works in the market. We purchase a certain amount of one currency, wait a certain amount of time, and then we sell it back later at a different price, hoping to get more in return and profit the difference. So the only difference is that instead of visiting another country or exchange kiosk to do this, we take part in the markets, usually through something called online brokers. This lets us exchange and trade currencies from home, or anywhere in the world really, with a couple clicks of a button on your computer or mobile device, or anyway through the internet. So there you have it.